Today is the 26th, and this is a video about the new assignment that you have for analyzing the different advertisements. And I'm going to give you the assignment sheet, I'm going to give you the examples, and I'm going to post all this stuff, but I did want to just talk through it so you know exactly what you have to do. I also want to point out that this has changed. It was just participation, but I want to change it to homework, and I will give you the rubric on one of your sheets. So you do have exactly what I'm looking for, and this is due on the 30th. So what this is, pretty much what we're trying to accomplish, is you are going to analyze and break down advertisements. And I have a packet up here that I will post, and there are 10 different ads. You only have to analyze 3 of them. So you get to pick which one. Please note that there are numbers with each of them. So when you are filling out the chart, you need to make sure you're putting the right number there so I can tell which one you are doing. This is the actual assignment sheet that you'll have to fill out. Here's the rubric down here. Okay. You're going to pick 3 ads from the packet of 10 that I just showed you. Write the picture number right here and fill out the chart as completely as you can. When I was going through the Prezi, I was analyzing the advertisement in front of me, doing all of this here, but we're just now putting it into a chart form. So always have the what. What is the purpose? What is the message? This can be a sentence, it can be 2 sentences, but don't spend too much time on this. You are just bluntly stating what the message of the visual should be. The techniques, just as a rhetorical analysis, you are not going to spend time talking about 10 of the different techniques within a visual. I want you to just focus on 2 to 4, and then you give the specific examples. I have this as a combined section because let's say that you want to talk about the emotional appeal. That's one of the techniques used. Some of you might want to list the 4 techniques that you want to talk about, and then down here you give those specifics. So where in the visual do they have the emotional appeal? What image is that? What text do they have that adds to the emotional appeal? Or if you didn't want to have it down there, you can just have maybe that's the technique used, and then here is an example, and you have the image of a puppy, Grizzly Avi, because he's so cute. And you continue there. Then you come down here. This one needs to be pretty long. I will show you an example, but this one is the effectiveness. This is the analyzing part. Now, I will tell you, in my years of doing this, people miss this one because they don't talk about the obvious. They don't explicitly state the why because people feel like it's already understood, and it is. And I mentioned that in the Prezi, how we kind of forget things. We don't realize that we're analyzing something visually because it is assumed within our society. But here is where you will actually be typing out and talking about the why is using an image of a puppy more effective than not. So this is should be fairly long. So you will do this process 3 different times. Eventually, we're going to be writing paragraphs about these. So the more detailed that you are now will definitely get you the 5 out of 5 for homework, but then it will also be beneficial and easier for when you have to write the paragraph. I want to show you an example. So this one is not an ad that's in the packet, so you won't be doing this one. But I wanted to give you an example for how to fill out the chart and what exactly you need to include in it. So what's the message? I have 2 things written down here. It's pretty much saying that the adults who are smoking it affects more than just you. You need to quit so children can look up to you. And I focused on 3 different techniques. The drastic color scheme, the image is important, and I also think that the text is important. So then I give the specific examples down here. A little bit more detailed. In the rubric it says that having Simple sentences, having even fragments are okay as long as it's fleshed out. So I talk about the specifics within here, and then I talk about the effectiveness. Why have this image be black and white? Why have the image of a crayon? Why use rhetorical questions and rhetorical fragments? So a good thing also to talk about in here is to talk about what colors they chose not to do. So I said here, the black and white puts the focal point on the colors on the crayon, and that's the main image here. And then I said, if this whole piece was in different colors, it takes away from that emphasis. So you can't talk about things that the image does not do. If this was an entire paragraph talking about the bad things about smoking and all this stuff, it's not as effective as a blunt, straightforward statement. So talking about what things aren't is a good way of analyzing something, just as a side note. So you can read these here as examples. Now, let's see. What am I missing? For your rubric, I am looking to see that you have completed all of the charts as fully and detailed as you possibly can. You're focusing on 2 to 4 devices per ad, that's 3 points. And then, like I said, I will accept simple sentences and some fragments, but it needs to be easy to follow, organized, and not sloppy. I color-coded it in my example. You don't necessarily have to do that there. I also had numbers, anything like that to help me to see exactly what you're doing. Make sure that you have that so you get the organization points. I will post this on Google Classroom, and so you'll have everything there. Please have this done by the 30th. Goodbye.